Well, look what the King in Black dragged in here. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. So, it's been a little while since I did a Null, like, top 10, right? And, yeah, actually, I think I've only done one, right? This channel hasn't been around for too long. And Null, as a matter of fact, hasn't been, he hasn't been around for too long either. But I think it's time. I think it's time that we revisit this and mix and mash things around, right? We have a new perspective on that, by the way. A new perspective. So I'm going to do things a little bit different. Instead of necessarily calling it like a top 10, I guess it's a top 10, but I'm more so saying, like Null must-haves, like Null clears, the must-haves that you need to clear Null. And that's how we're going to do this. Because, there are certain characters that, like okay, supports, for example, those, in a sense, they're must-haves for clear Null in certain aspects. A lot of times they're just as important as your damage dealers. So that's how we're actually going to approach this. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you, so I posed a question in the last video. I asked you what stage you're on and who you're clearing it with, and how many times per day are you actually clearing it. So this way, I can kind of gather some data, and from you guys answering that and me checking your response, I can then get a better picture of what it's looking like for for accounts that say aren't even past stage 10, who don't have any pierce, or maybe little to no pierce on cards, who don't necessarily have their account stacked, who don't have Odin's blessings on all their characters, and they don't have them maxed out. So I went ahead and I did that. I gathered some data and I put together a list for essentially like before stage 10, if you have little to no pierce on cards. And then I'm going to give you my list, my say top 10 characters that are actually that I use on a daily basis for clear Null. That's how we're going to do this. Now, yesterday I went ahead and I got, I don't want to go there. I'm going to go here. I got the rest of, well, I opened all the chests, right? I had all my tokens, and I opened all of the chests. Now, there was still one day to gather tokens, which is today. So let's go ahead and let's pop open the rest of these. Nothing good so far. How many? What, I have two more left? Okay. Last one there. Any more? One more? Okay. Got shafted there. Got junk. Absolute junk. Okay, and then one other thing I want to do is, well, let me grab that up. Let's go over here. And so my alliance is in, we're in the top 100 for AC, and we played the New York map, and I got I had well over 30 wins, 30 attacks. So I got this here mythic box, and there's some good stuff in that mythic box. So let's just go ahead, let's pop all these. Let's see what we get. Let's hope we get something good out of this box here. Fingers crossed, because there's Odin's blessing, CTPs, premium cards. I got, okay, a 6-star card. I mean, that's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world, but there's better stuff in there, I'll tell you that much. All right, now here are all the things that are in that box. You can get tier 2 mega ticket, a 6-star mega rank up ticket. You can every single CTP, every single Odin's blessing. I think every single premium card. It looks like it. Maybe missing a few. There's not like the like the new Avengers #1 card. That one's on. So it's missing some, but it's got a good deal of them. And then every other single regular mythic card. And you can get Mythic Guru. Thank God I did not get one of those. I think last time I got 2 fully awakened of the amplifying ISOs, the red one there. So I don't know. 6-star card, not bad, but there's definitely some better things in that box. 100%. A regular premium card would have been nice, or Odin's blessing, CTP. I would have took any one of those. The rank up tickets, I don't need them. I'll show you how many rank up tickets I actually have. Let's see. I have 16 6-star mega rank up tickets, and I have 14 tier 2 mega rank up tickets. I don't think I'm ever going to use those. I don't have any characters to use. You know, I might as well, like, I could use them on I actually, you know what, should I go ahead and use them on like these characters, because these are the last ones I have. Squirrel Girl is the last character that I'm yet to get to level 60, well, besides like Ebony Mob, besides these 4 characters here, the ones that are blacked out there. I don't even own those. But out of every regular character, regular obtainable character in the game, all but Squirrel Girl, and I'm ranking her up right now. So I'm doing all this in preparation for, you know, getting some Shadowland content. I'm going to try pushing Shadowland. It looks like, yet again, I might not be able to get to it this week, but, you know, I'm gonna try. And if not, you know, hopefully next week, you know, fingers crossed, because it's a huge time sink. It is a huge time sink. You need to set aside a great deal amount of time to do it, especially, you know, for an account like mine that has, you know, I would assume I'd be able to push rather high. So let's jump into this. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna do a list for, you know, accounts that you have little to no pierce, and just from gathering data, talking to different players, I'm gonna start with number 8. I'm gonna start with number 8, and I'm gonna work my way up to 1, and then I'm gonna give you 9, 10, and 11. So there's actually 11. There's 11 on here. Okay, so number 8 is Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill is coming in at number 8. Now, you know, thing is, he works well. I believe he works well with even like a regular like lightning damage, you know, 200 proc obelisk. But the best thing for him is going to be an energy. And, you know, I find the awakened characters to be very valuable for clear null, just because, you know, you pop them in really quickly, you do their awaken rotation, then you can pop them out. I think that's the best way to play them. You know, if you're playing, you know, an awakened character like Beta Ray Bill or Moon Knight, you know, as a solo, I don't think that's the best way to do it. You should try to rethink your strategy, and that goes for a lot of characters. There's certain characters that are better to just clear the whole way through, like Moonstone, Sharon Rogers, Null, and, you know, maybe like Cable to an extent. But Beta Ray Bill, I think he's definitely best paired up, even with another awakened character. Okay, so he's number 8. Number 7 is my guy Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider's coming in at number 7. You know, yeah, I would think, especially like if you have a rage on him and you have little to no pierce on cards, he's going to do very well for you. You know, there's people that, you know, I've read the comments talking to people that Ghost Rider is very good. He's a solid clear, but he's not clearing as high of a stage as some other characters. But, you know, he's a very, you know, low cost, free to play option for you, and he works well with either Rage or Judgment. Either one of those, I would not put a proc on him. I would definitely get this guy a Rage or a Judgment. All right, number 6. Number 6 is a tall glass of milk, Mr. Moon Knight here. Now I believe he could work with a proc as well, but energy is going to be the best thing for him. I mean, I've heard some people saying Rage works better for them, but from the vast majority of players that, you know, I've spoken to about Moon Knight regarding, you know, CTP choice, energy is going to be the way to go. And for me, Moon Knight's definitely high on the list as well. He's just so good because, you know, he can, okay, so, you know, you start his rotation 3, 5, 6. When you hit the 3, you can like, you know, he goes in that media iframe, and what does he have on 3? Well, you know, I'm not exactly sure what it is. It might just be the iframe, but he can, like, you know, like basically like right after 22 bars, right? 22 bars when Null does a safe circle. Right after that, when he comes and starts attacking you, usually he guard breaks and he pierces, you know, whatever it is, and, you know, whoever you're playing with. But, you know, Moon Knight, for some reason, he can, like, you know, you could just go into his rotation. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It might just be the iframe, but yeah, you can basically attack it at any time. You know, those little things like yeah, a character might be able to deal a lot of damage, but if they don't have, like, the survivability, if they can't avoid certain things, then it kind of knocks them down a couple rungs. Like for me, Cable is really, really good, and he does excellent damage, but he's really fidgety to play because his rotation. You need Null to stand in one spot. You need him in one spot. Unless you're using his X of Swords uniform, that one I find to be a little bit more flexible. It's not as good as far as the damage goes, but he's easier to play. He's easier from 30 to 0 bars. Well, 30 to 7 bars, I'd say. He's easier to knock him down the phases in that sense. But yeah, Moon Knight, he's very good in all those ways, damage wise, and just being able to just kind of navigate and withstand whatever Null's throwing at him. All right. So that was number 6. Number 5. Number 5 actually is Cable. So I was rudely interrupted when I was getting to number 5. Number 5 is our guy Cable here. Now, I know I just mentioned that he can be a little finicky. He can be a little difficult, to play from 30 to 7 bars. He's excellent from 60 to 30, and then obviously 7 down because Null, he's not moving, right? Sorry, buddy. He's not moving. He's not going anywhere. So you just kind of have to, I just feel like he takes a little more skill to play, navigating through the phases from 30 to 7 bars there. Well, not even necessarily 7. I'd say 30 to 12 bars because he's once he jumps off the Grendel, and he's basically in one spot at that point. So. You just kind of have to, like, I would team him up. I team him up with Gambit. I do Star-Lord lead, Gambit, in Cable. But, from the response from the players, right, reading the comments, talking to, some other people on Discord, Cable is definitely, he's a strong adversary for a clear and Null. And I'm not sure whether or not, if you guys are using X of Swords or the Summer Days uniform. Honestly, both, they're very comparable. Like I said, I feel like the X of Swords is easier. It's easier to play from, getting through the phases after 30 bars. All right. Now, number 4, coming in at number 4 is this Chica right here. Obviously, you don't want to use this uniform. Don't use the Starlight armor. Don't use that one. So, yeah, Sharon Rogers. Now, I feel like, so I saw that some people aren't clearing as high of a stage with Sharon Rogers as they are with some other characters, and that may be because maybe you're not playing her to the best of her ability, because I think she's so good. For me, she's probably by far like the easiest, most consistent clear for me, just because you hit the 3. And you're accumulating damage, so you're protected, and then you give it right back to him. But yeah, I don't know. I love playing with Sharon Rogers. Like I said, easiest clear for me, and it sounds like she's definitely putting in the work for you guys out there too. Like I said, with little to no Pierce on cards. And if you are having trouble playing Sharon Rogers, I made a whole video talking about, I did a whole entire run with her, and basically kind of like a Sharon Rogers guide video on how to play her. I think it's titled like Sharon Rogers Redemption. So if you're having trouble playing her, or you think you can play her a little bit better, check out that video. It'll serve you well. I promise you that. And another thing I want to mention is, okay, so on the last video, a lot of people were attributing that Spider-Man Red Skull combo clear to the Pierce on cards. It's not just Pierce. It's Conquer level as well. I'd say Conquer level is doing at least half the work there. Conquer level is so important, so keep that in mind for everybody out there. Like, your Null clears will consistently get easier. And at one point, I'd say even if you get no Pierce on cards, at one point when your Conquer level is high enough, you'll be able to do Stage 5, Red Skull, Spider-Man 2. I guarantee that. So keep that in mind. All right, coming in at number 3. Number 3 for little to no Pierce is gonna be Odin. Odin seems like, I'm hearing, Odin is really, really good for, for accounts that have little to no pierce, right? Because the thing is, Odin, he can basically only work with a rage. Now, if Odin could work with like a judgment or energy, I'd say, he'd be higher on my list as well. And we'll get to that in a minute. But Odin, he just he has such good survivability. I mean, even with all the pierce on my cards, I still have Odin on one of the teams. Odin is definitely really good. If you don't have him, I suggest that you work on him. And yeah, he's just he survivability is excellent. You can when Null jumps, what I like doing when Null jumps, right? Usually got to switch your character. If you just keep tapping 5 with Odin, before Null hits the ground, you'll go into that iframe and he'll start going into that 5th skill animation there. And his damage is just he's excellent, right? His skill, his rotation just flows so well, and yeah, he's solid. He's definitely a solid clear. So yeah, if you don't have him, get him. Okay, number two on the list. Number 2 for little to no pierce on cards is going to be Null himself. Now for me, Null is much further down the list. He's much further down the list, and that's just because where the stages I'm playing. It's basically because where my conquer level is at, the stages I'm playing, and I actually have a rage on him because I'm trying to see if he's going to work for ABX. As of right now, Loki's still outscoring Null for me. Not by much, but I still feel like I still haven't tapped into Loki's full potential. Same with Null, but I feel like Loki has more potential. He has a higher ceiling than Null. That's the way it is. So I might be switching his build around. Not sure where yet. I would imagine that once I start progressing more through Null, once my conquer level gets a little bit higher and it can make basically playing a stage from 35 to 40 feasible with Null, I will use him there. But as of right now, the stages I'm playing, I don't use him. But he's for accounts that like a lot of these comments I'm reading, a lot of people they're Null's like their best clear. And that's saying something. Plus he has his own leadership, right? He's got this crazy 60% increased all attacks to all symbiotes. So you could pair him up with like race. But if you're playing 10 or under, or 9 or under, you can Carnage, Venom, Gwenom. You can team up with one of those. I'd say Carnage would probably be a really good a good swap buddy, right? You can swap in and out with Carnage. Venom's not too bad either, but I have a really good build on Venom. So for somebody who maybe limited resources, you don't have a whole lot to go around, Venom might not be a character that you essentially actually want to build up. So but Null, he's solid. I'm sure if you have little to no pierce on cards, you already know that Null is he can definitely be a go-to guy if you don't have him already. Okay, now number 1, I think we already know, right? It's going to be Miss Moonstone here. Miss Moonstone, and I think I mentioned I actually rolled her. I won one roll. I was prepared to do more. One roll though, and it's I'm a little upset and kind of happy at the same time. I got the max proc on it, but it's still 8% beatdown. So I don't know. Will I now? It's even tougher decision if I want to actually go ahead and continue rolling that. But Moonstone, she's just I mean the burst damage on her is just absolutely amazing. She's one character that you don't even want to swap in and out for. I mean, unless you were doing, I don't know, maybe like a Star-Lord, Moonstone, Sharon Rogers team up, or like a Cyclops, Moonstone, Sharon Rogers. But honestly, the best route to take with her would just be giving her a support, like Cyclops lead, Raven or Valkyrie, and then Moonstone. But yeah, she takes the cake, and in my opinion, it's not even really close. I think maybe Null might be kind of close to her, right? If you have like a comparable build on each, and you have little to no pierce on cards, Null might be close. Let me know how close Moonstone and Null is for you on your account. But yeah, Moonstone, she takes the cake there. Now, as I mentioned, I started with number 8. And I went to 1. Now, I said I have 3 others. I have 3 other characters that I'm going to throw in here, and you'll see why I started with 8. So for 9, 10, and 11, 9, 10, and 11 are going to be Valkyrie, Raven, and where is he? And then Cyclops. Okay, and I'm sure you already know why. It's because these are these characters are support characters, right? So like Cyclops lead, right? You're getting a total of 65% to energy attack, because he's got 35% all attacks right there, and then he's got 30% increase to energy attack. So you get 65 there, and then if you give, I don't know, let's say Valkyrie, right? Valkyrie support with like Sharon Rogers or Moonstone, because she's giving you an additional 50%, plus you're getting 30% ignore dodge. That's a crazy passive. I'd say Valkyrie is, support. Valkyrie support is better than Raven support. So if I had to put these in order, I don't know. I'd say probably Valkyrie, Cyclops, and then Raven, or Valkyrie, Raven, and then Cyclops. The thing is, why Cyclops would be further down is because you can give, there's many more leads than there are supports, right? So as them just being in his support is 30, it's 30%, right? It's not as high, but it's nothing to shake a stick at, if you see what I mean. Okay, so that's my list, and I do think that supports are just as important as damage dealers. But if you're having trouble clearing Null and you need some direction on what characters to build up, from those 8, well these 11 characters, I'd say is a really good place to start. I would start building those characters up, and then yeah, of course you want leads. I'm guessing you probably already have some leads on your account, right? Maybe like Hero Hulk. Hulk's he's a 800 CCF character. Even like Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Star-Lord's a really good one. I think most players have Star-Lord just because of the Epic Quest. Wanda's a little more expensive. Apocalypse, not really the best lead. Magneto's good for mutants. But yeah, just any one of those. Okay, now let's jump into my list. And I'll jump into just like a little bit of gameplay, and I'm going to show you just kind of, I'm going to give you a demonstration of why some of these characters are where they are. Okay, so Moonstone is, I'm going to go from top to bottom. So I'm going to start with number 1. Excuse me. Number 1 for me is Moonstone. I think that's just obvious. She is destroying it, and even just the the higher proc on this. I know I'm bringing this up a couple times, but it went from the 220, and the chain hit damage a little lower. I think it was 35. I think that's what it was before, and I could see a huge difference, and that's the only thing that changed. All right, so Moonstone number 1. Number 2 for me is Sharon Rogers, and I already mentioned that she's just such an easy efficient clear. Like, I very seldom do I have to run it more than once with her, and I'm gonna breeze through this list. Okay, number 3 is Moon Knight, Tall Glass of Milk. Yeah, he's coming in at number 3 for me. Again, a lot of it's just, for me at this point, I like to play Null. I enjoy playing Null, but I don't like to really run. Like, if I got to do the same run more than like twice, I'm starting to get a little impatient, and I just kind of want to get it done. And Moon Knight, he's just so consistent for me. And like I said, the way he's able to just kind of avoid and withstand some of Null's, attacks and whatnot. That's why, and his damage is just incredible. That's why he's coming in at number 3. And then number 4 is Cable. Yeah, Cable is, he's a serious monster when it comes to clearing Null. And if you notice, the top 4 already, well, you'll notice all the top characters on my list work with energy, and that's because of the interference with Pierce and Rage. Now, if that wasn't the case, things would probably be swapped around a little bit. But yeah, Cable, like I said, he's very good. His damage is excellent. On par with Moon Knight's, maybe even a little bit better, maybe. But he's a little more difficult to play, especially with the after the 30 bar mark. He's a little more difficult to play. He's a little more because you need Null in the same spot for his damage to be as good as it would be otherwise. All right, now number 5. Number 5, I'm putting Beta Ray Bill at number 5. As I've mentioned, these awakened characters, their value is invaluable because I every one of my clears except Moonstone and Sharon Rogers, I'm swapping characters in and out basically the whole entire run. And Beta Ray Bill, he's excellent for swapping in and out and doing his awaken rotation. Actually, because what you should do is, because he's got accumulation on his 6th skill, and it lasts for 12 seconds. So a good way to play him would be to do his awaken rotation and then do one regular rotation after the awaken rotation, because that accumulation is still up, and you'll notice there's a huge spike in damage. Like if you do his regular rotation like without doing his awaken skill and then compare it to doing it after doing his awaken skill, you'll notice a huge difference in the damage. So do his awaken skill and then do one regular rotation after, and then swap him in, out for somebody else. I've been switching my teams around a little bit just to see like kind of what works better. And I'm finding some interesting things. All right, now the next 2 could kind of be swapped around here. Okay, and one thing I didn't mention is, okay, so on the list before, you didn't see Sentry on that list because I'm hearing from players that like they can't even do stage 1 with Sentry. I'm not really sure why that is. I don't know if like having Pierce on cards has anything to do with it, or if like maybe you don't have an energy on them, or if it's play style. So the next 2 here are Sentry and Odin. Now I mentioned, I already spoke about Odin and just like he's so easy to play, and his survivability is excellent, his damage is good. He's even proven, he's proven to be still useful even with a rage on my account. And I think that's saying something. In Sentry, he's just like Sentry, his survivability is excellent. Like he can, withstand a lot of damage. His movement speed is super fast, which you wouldn't think to be really important, but it's actually kind of important. And I'm gonna play a clip. So I thought to try to save time. You know what? I'll play it after I get through my list, but I'm gonna show you the difference in damage from Sentry to Odin. I'm gonna do just like one rotation with like Moon Knight, Cable, Sentry, and Odin. I'm gonna do those 4 so you can see. Okay, so the next after that, so we got, let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, so 8. Number 8 is Ghost Rider. Now since it's a shame that I have to choose between like having them perform well in ABX or having them perform well for Null. It's nonsense. It's really irritating. But since I put Rage back on Ghost Rider, he's not as good for me on my account. He's basically coming right below Odin, because with Judgment he was really fast. He was really good. Rage, he's still good. He's still good. And he still can be useful. It's just I find it just a little bit easier to play with other characters. But he's still on the list. Okay, number 9. Number 9, I'm putting Null on this list. I'm putting him on here. I don't use him. I don't use Null for any of my clears, but I think it's still important, shed some light on a character who is very good. Now, he's not as good with Rage, right? But, maybe I'm thinking of either putting energy back on him or a regen, or maybe Greed. We're going to see. We're going to do some testing with him soon enough. If Paralyzed season comes and he's still not outscoring Loki, I have no reason to have a Rage on him. So we'll be doing that swap then. But he's coming in at number 9 there. And then number 10. Number 10, I put Gambit on this list. Now for me, Gambit, he's not really he's not as good as Cable. So I do Star-Lord, Cable, and Gambit team up, and he's really good for, he's swapping in, doing that awaken rotation, but his damage just really isn't there, right? But I think somebody cleared 40, and they might be pushing past 40. And actually, let me show you. And what they did, they have a Brilliant on Gambit. They had to give Gambit like the max roll on a Brilliant in order to do it. So somebody passed me. This guy, Bleed Emil. He passed me, and if you look, like, he doesn't even have a lot of pierce. He's got 10% pierce on cards. He's got 121.7 energy attack, but look at this. So I don't know. This must be doing the job for the guy. He's got a Brilliant. He's got the max roll on a Brilliant, 10% beatdown, and he's got the highest proc on him, and he's got him just built to the max. So it looks like he's clearing it, because I looked at his Moonstone, and for him to get that score, he would have had to clear that really fast with Moonstone. She has a Mighty. There's no way he's doing it, especially with only 10% pierce on cards. So that guy, he must have been able to do it. Must have been, unless he swapped that Brilliant off of Moonstone, unless he got that score with, and now he's trying to go for 40 plus. That could be a possibility. But yeah, so yeah, there's that. So yeah, Gambit, he's coming in at 10. He's not bad, but his damage alone isn't that good. He's good for swapping in and out, but damage alone, eh. And okay, so let me show you what's going on here. Let's go into World Boss here. I did one of my runs, so some of my characters I don't actually have. Okay, so here. This is what I'm going to do. Let me use these strikers here, and I'm going to do Odin. I'm going to show you, what his damage looks like in comparison to Sentry, just so you guys can see why I'm putting these characters where they are. So we're just going to do, just like one full rotation with the Awaken skill. So he's getting down to, it's about 20 seconds and like 52 bars, right? Okay, so I was going to try to record all of these, but I ended up doing sentries, and I'll just play this one here, and then I'll play live. I'll play live all the other ones here. Okay, so here we go. Here's sentry. I did this just, a few minutes before I started recording here. But and if you're not super familiar how to play them, like, this is how you want to play them. And then you do his tier 3 on the next rotation, just like Odin. You do his tier 3 on the very next rotation. And so you see he's a little bit faster. At 20 seconds, we're at 49 bars, right? So he's a little bit faster. He's trickier to play, though. He's trickier to play, and he's more susceptible to missing procs. I will say that, especially the tier 3. Especially the tier 3, he's susceptible to missing that. Like, sometimes it just doesn't want to hit, right? All right, let me show you Cable, where he's at. So we were, 52 bars, 20 seconds for Odin, and then 49 for the same with Sentry there. And what I like to do, depending on what stage I'm on, I'll stop. I'll pull him out of the rotation before the 50 bars, and I like to go into the tier 3, just because you have a lot of protection there. But look at that. I mean, we're at, it was like 15 seconds, and we're at 49 bars with Cable, just so you can see where that comparison is. Now, let's rock out with Mr. Moon Knight, the tall glass of milk, and basically the same lead. The ignore dodge and same strikers. Thing is, though, on most of the awakened skills, they get a high percentage of ignore dodge, and they get it for like 10 or 12 seconds. I believe Moon Knight's 70% for 10 seconds, so he should have like max ignore dodge, so he could take advantage of a different type of really late proc there as well. Okay, so 15 seconds, 52 bars, right? Is basically kind of like on par with Cable in terms. Well, I think Cable was even a little bit more. That was a bad proc. Honestly, it's usually a little bit more with Moon Knight. But to be able to just, you know, pop in, do all that damage, and then pop out is like I said, it's invaluable. Okay, I think that's basically it. I think I covered everything, guys. I think I did. So there it is. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have little to no Pierce on cards, and you know, the list that I gave out. Let me know if that's pretty much spot on for you guys, because I'm pretty sure it is. From all the data that I've gathered and all the players that I've spoke to, I'm pretty sure that's spot on. And the thing is this: if you don't have, you know, if you're having trouble clearing Null, take those characters into consideration and just start ranking them up. Go down the list. I'm going to put the list on the screen, and start going down that list and ranking those characters up. That's what I would do, and make sure, you know, you don't forget about supports and leads. So, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, you better stay tuned, you stay breezy, but most of all, friend, you stay safe out there. Peace.